Procreate Dreams 2 just launched earlier today. This is an animation app by the company that makes the illustration app Procreate. And they have a brand new flipbook. They have some really cool transform layers. And I'm just going to show you how I might use Procreate Dreams in my own creative workflows. So stick around. Think you'll learn a thing or two. And it should be pretty fun. All right, here we go. So this is Procreate Dreams number 2. It's the new update. Just came out about a few hours ago. And we're just going to assess it, try it out, see what we can make with it. Welcome to Procreate Dreams 2. Your brushes have been upgraded. Please select a location for your brushes. Okay. All right, think we're good. Let's go ahead and make a new... Actually, do you want to see what they can do? So this is stuff that you can animate in Procreate Dreams. You can do stuff of this quality. It's just a really, really phenomenal animation tool. And you can break things down into like layers and compositions. And how do I do? Oh yeah, so you can do 3 fingers to kind of change the zoom in. You can expand your scenes. You can see all the different layers. This person set it up as like an effects CG layer. They did an environment layer, a character layer, a background effects layer, a background art layer, and then they have sound and sound design. Doing some really big detail work. I just thought I'd stop for a second and say hi. Oh, hey, thanks for coming by. Good afternoon. So Procreate Dreams number 2 just launched today, and so I wanted to check it out. So what's so cool is like you could turn off layers that you don't want to see, for example. Like let's say I want to maybe just turn off the effects and the environment in the foreground. Let's say we turn off the background environment and the background artwork, and now we're looking at just the character artwork. But even the character artwork in this one can be expanded. You can see that they did, it looks like they did a flipbook edit. Let's see, what is this one? So they have a flipbook. Oh, I see they did like shadows behind them. So let me take off the shadows. What is this one? Okay, I guess these are the drawings they actually did. So if we go edit flipbook, you can actually see all the individual drawings that they did. And so you can see that they had like frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, actually wait, 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. And you can see the individual drawings they did. And what's cool is you can work off of different layers. So if I wanted to add to this animation, I can make a new layer above it, I think. Let me see, is that how it works? Oh, wait, sorry, wrong. I don't know how to add layers yet. See, is this it? Okay, so this adds a new layer. And I'm gonna grab like a green brush. They have a animation brush library. Let's say I wanna add some chalk or some paint. Let's do some outline brushes. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna grab a nice red color. All right, and so then I might, have the character jump like that, and then we go to the next beat. Oh, I guess I have to have it hold. I don't know how to have it hold. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's cool. They made a nice hold keyframe, so you can hold it for animate on 1s and 2s. Such a good interface. You can just extend keyframes. Yeah, so they just did this update, and this is just a phenomenal animation app. But we're doing off of, right now I'm like looking at somebody else's work. So let's say we wanted to start from scratch. I don't know how to do that. Looking for, I guess I click flipbook, finish drawing. Let's say we want to go to the theater, and we're going to make a brand new one from scratch. If I'm going to make stuff for social media, I might want to make it this 4K socials. And we'll start off with the flipbook. Okay, so we're given this nice interface. Now, we go to edit flipbook. And let's just go ahead and draw a little circle. Go to frame 2 and draw it over here. And then for frame 3, I'm going to draw like a line, because it's traveling really fast. And then maybe I have it kind of pop right here. Maybe it holds, and let's just play that. So you can already see how this works, right? you can animate stuff. Now let's continue on. So we're holding here. I wonder, can I just... Okay, so that's so cool. You can add hold keyframes right in the flipbook. I think they had troubles doing this before, so that's nice. So I can have it like go there and hold. And then when it gets there, maybe I have it do a little nudge to the right to build some anticipation. It holds for a second. It says again, and then I'll have it dart this way. Let's make it go 3D by kind of changing it. I heard they added drag and drop color now. They did. It works. Cool. Let's see, can it work? I think you have to have the shape enclosed. There we go. That's great. So for now 3D, maybe we fill this whole corner with a red color. Look at that. This is the best thing I've seen in a long time, honestly. Oh, wow. Sorry, I've been using speech dictation, so when the live is over, not live, I might actually use this for my main component. Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. So let's say we go over here, and then maybe right here I have it kind of create this little shape there. And then whatever's outside of that, rounded rectangle is not going to be seen, right? Because that's like outside the frame. And we'll just kind of put that shape right there. And then I'm going to add a hold keyframe to this like rectangle-y looking character. And yes, this is going to be a character. You know me, love to have my animated characters around. All right, so let's go ahead and play that back. So let's make it a hold keyframe on this key here. So we're just going to hold it. Let's take a look. Great. Is there a trial available for Procreate Dreams? It's a one-time payment of either $15 or $25. So no, there is not a trial. But look at this. They have multiple layers you can add. So let's say that's like my first layer, right? I can have a second layer. I'm going to do in a different color. Maybe this kind of dark charcoal. Let's try it. And they also added all sorts of new brushes. Oh, that's beautiful. So let's say I wanted to do like my line art on a separate layer. Actually, I'll just do the outlines first. And then we'll add a hold keyframe here for a beat. Then we do a little bit of an anticipatory frame. Oh yeah, it's a one-time payment. Unlike every other creative app and AI app out there, Procreate Dreams is literally one of the only ones that's a one-time payment. That's why I'm kind of like, just support them. Don't do it free trial. There is no free trial option, but just pay. It's a one-time payment. Support apps that actually encourage human creativity still. It's a dying breed of apps. So, support the companies that are actually caring enough. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this in a second. I just want to get this outline in here first to kind of tell the story of whatever little test I'm doing here. I'm a great artist, so I could make my own assets. This is amazing. Saves so much time. Oh, dude, 100%. And also, dude, I haven't even shown you half of what this thing is capable of. This is just the very basic. Let me show you the more advanced features in a second. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit play on this. Love that. So now what I'm going to do is I want to create like a blink cycle. So I had a theory. What I was going to do is right when it gets to here and lands on a new layer, I wanted the character to blink. So let's give him a little circle eyes. And I'll have him hold the circle eyes for a couple frames. And then on this frame, we'll do a little start to blink. And then we'll do our nice blink frame, making sure we keep that eye width intact. And then we can open the eyes back up. And maybe I'll hold this keyframe a little bit longer, actually. Just hold this keyframe over here. And then we'll go back to the eyes being open. Can I copy this? Let me see. Long press. Yes, you can copy now. Thank goodness. Copy, and then do I just what? Long press? Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's take a look. Cute. All right, so right here is when I want to start to see the character's face. So when it's coming around the corner here, I'm thinking the eye, since it's also coming in super fast, we can probably put the eyes somewhere like a little bit elongated. No, maybe a little bit lower. Maybe they're coming into the frame. And then this is like the halfway point. So if you use a computer, is it okay to use an external Wacom? No, this won't work with Wacom. This is a iPad and iPhone app only. Yeah. So, be aware. If you were expecting to use a Wacom tablet, this is not the app. Okay, let's see these little eyeballs. And then for this one, we'll just have these super long, stretchy eyeballs. Oops. Oh, I'm on the eraser. That's what's going on. Oops, sorry for bumping the thing. All right, Are there easy ease options and keyframes? I'm so happy you asked. Yes, I'll show you how to do that. So if I switch out of Flipbook and go back to Finish Drawing, they have so I'm in that was all in one layer right now. That was all under Compose. They also have Perform, and they also have Keyframe. So here's Perform. What Perform does is whatever you start to adjust, it records the movement of it. So you see all that movement I just did? It actually created keyframes, so now there's like extra jiggle on everything. So that's another option. There's also keyframe, where I could say, you know what, here I need it to be scaled up, maybe a little bit rotated over here, and then maybe when it goes up, I need this to be fully rotated over there. And then maybe right here, when I do this ease in, I'll set a keyframe. And then here, I want it to rock the keyframe a little bit. So it goes like, whoop. Set the keyframe, and then here it comes back around. Oh, looks like I'm missing a drawing there. My bad, but whatever. Just kind of just rotate there. But yeah, now I just added manual keyframes. You see that? So I just added a little bit more emphasis with that rotation. Let's add a new layer and show you another example of where you would use this. So you go to here, hit the plus button. I'm going to add a new drawing. And let's say for this drawing, I just need like a basic room. So I go to drawing. I'm just going to edit drawing. Let's just do some floor, and we got a little, whatever, ceiling, wall. Okay. And I'm going to set this layer to the gray back here and just kind of fill this up. And then let's do a slightly different color for this other wall. Great. It's a little off gray. We're going to go back to the drawing. We're going to move this layer underneath the Flipbook layer. And now we have a background behind our character. And so one way I could like create like a cool camera movement is I would keyframe or perform on this background. So if I hit performance and I go like this, just by animating that camera, take a look now, it looks like the camera like zooms into the character. You see that? So I just animate that whole background now with a very simple performance gesture. So you can combine a mixture of performance, a mixture of keyframing. I mean, you name it. It's really powerful stuff. All right, so let's continue on our character. It looks like he was missing an eyeball somewhere. So I'm going to go out of Perform, go back to this layer, go to Edit Flipbook, and figure out where did he lose an eye. Right there. So let me grab my color palette and just make sure that his eye does not vanish. Cute. But is there a graph editor? Yes. Let me think of something I can animate that would make sense for that. Finish drawing. Okay, let's say we have a new layer. Let's go to right above. I'm going to set the timeline indicator at the beginning. Create a new keyframe. We're going to add a new drawing. And for whatever reason, I'm just going to use this yellow. I'm just going to make a yellow square. I'm going to fill that yellow square. Great. And then what we're going to do is go back to our timeline, go to keyframe. And if you click on the keyframe move button, you actually have some more options that appear. So you have the ability to, you could hand animate like warping, if you wanted to like a timeline warp. I'll show you. So if we go to distort, I have a keyframe set here. I can move this over here for that frame and then go to the future and have it distort some other way. And now, just between that alone, we're going to see like a distortion there. Like you see how it distorted that yellow thing? And if you need to change that timeline, you can grab keys. You have the exact value. You can slide them around. So now it should distort much faster, right? I think there is a way to do easing. I just forgot how to do it. Give me a second to remember. What is this? About this artwork, frames per second, duration, history, stage, timeline, add a keyframe to start, ping pong, one-shot loop, share, stage. That's cool. You can also export as a transparent background. Preferences, gestures, I don't remember. I think there is a way to do it. I think I've seen it once before. Let me remember. Give me a second to remember. I might just need to like play for a second, because I usually learn through play. That is how my brain works. That's how a lot of human brains work. So let me just play around real quick. And let me hit the compose, and then let's get this guy distorted over here. How do I do this? I think there is a way to do it. I just don't remember. Let me try again. Let's try drawing. Just going to draw a little circle. Oh, there it is. Transform. And also it's like really smart. Like it doesn't distort really badly. I guess it changed the resolution a little bit of the edges. Selection. Oh yeah, they now added all the same selection tools, which is so important. So you can animate stuff that way. Where's the keyframes, friends? There's also onion skinning. So if you turn on onion skin, it lets you see where something's going to animate in the future. But I don't know where they put the keyframe tool. Yeah, I don't see it. Finish drawing. Where is this draw? Oh, did I draw this on this layer? Where do we... Oh, sorry, it is on its own layer. Okay, so let's go to edit. So I don't want to edit drawing. I want to go to keyframe. I want to set a keyframe for its position. And then go into the future and move it there. Edit anchor. Oh yeah, you can change the anchor point of where you want it to, where it's positioned to be, where you want it to rotate from, which is kind of cool. Really cool, I mean. Shoot, I'm not really seeing a keyframer. I feel like a graph editor, but I could have sworn I've seen one before. Wonder if they took it out because it was a little buggy maybe, or I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing it up. I apologize. I don't see the graph editor. What I would do in your situation though is I'll probably just use performance mode, and then I would just literally perform what I need the thing to do with the pen, and then that way you get that, right? Like that's like using performance mode on that layer. So and then you can re-record. So it's like that record is on. You could choose whatever you want to performance. So let's say I want it just to change the noisiness of this. I could have the noise animate on and off, play with the scaling of that noise. So it's actually really, really, really powerful. Look at that. See, I could change the noise of that object. And they have, they just have a lot of power. So let's do another one. I'm gonna go to create a new scene. I'm gonna do another one for social medias. Go to Flipbook. Actually, no, I'm not gonna start with Flipbook. I'm gonna start with drawing. And I want to just draw a circle. One thing they don't have is the quick shapes feature where you would like hold the brush. It is super fire. Okay, so we have this shape here, right? We have a new drawing. I go to the drawing, edit drawing. I'm just going to try my best to draw a circle. Then what I'm going to do is switch it back to performance mode. Go to the first keyframe, go to perform. And then I'm just going to think what I want this to do. So I might just go like, oh yeah, and it takes the twist of the brush, by the way. So you see me, I twist the brush right here. So you can actually use this to animate stuff. It's really powerful. Let's do another performance. Instead of, not edit drawing, keep the drawing, finish drawing. Under performance, we can play with the Gaussian blur. Could be something you want to perform. So you'd be like, shh. Like that's now all those keyframes were just recorded just by doing that. So now we have that animation. I hope you see how powerful this is, right? Because like you can physically move your asset into your own animation by your brush strokes. Exactly. That's exactly it. So, you know, I'm in performance mode. I'm going to make it inactive and just kind of move this object over here. So, you know, if you have a keyframe on that frame 1, right, you click it, there it is, there's a keyframe. Then I would go to the, it looks like 4 seconds into the future and just kind of move it over here. Maybe I'll move it right there and set the keyframe. And look at that. Now you have a perfectly smooth animation right there. But then you're like, okay, that's great, but now I actually want to add my performance on top of this. So I want this to be the main motion, but maybe I want to have this character doing something else. So what you could do now is switch it to perform. And now, when I'm bouncing the character up and down, this is a separate action from the keyframed motion. Oh wait, sorry, bad example. I think I overwrote them. I think you have to, let me undo this. So we have the first one, which was the keyframed animation, where it's sliding. Right, so that's the sliding. Then what you might want to do is group things. So let's say that's my first one. I'm going to duplicate this. Whoa, they have masks now? Oh my God. That's like, I use masks so much in After Effects. They didn't have this here before. Wow. What is this? Track options? Dude, they added a ton of stuff in this update. This is out of control. All right, so I just duplicated it. I'm just going to take it and slide it off a frame. And this just offsets the time, right? Pretty neat. But now, let's say I want to work on these two layers together, like they're friends. Because right now they're like this layer is the bottom one. I'll change. Can I change the color of this? Let me see. If I go to Compose, Edit Drawing, just for visibility, if I made this like a goldish color, can I do that? Okay, cool. So we have that gold one. Let's go back to the drawing. Okay, so you got this, right? We have two shapes, but let's say this is good, but I need to animate these two things together, and I don't want to have to animate them separately. What do? This guy lets you select multiple, this lets you select multiple layers in here. So if we had, for example, another duplicate, which I'm going to do right now, duplicate, regular duplicate, and then just slide this in time right there. And then with this one, same idea, we're going to edit drawing. Let's just change its color to orange, or no, let's do a totally different color. Let's do like a greenish something, right? So you have these three drawings, and they all kind of appear in different times. We could easily have them all start at the same time, or like have them all be on screen the whole time, but even though they only animate separately. So you got like this, right? And then let's make sure that they actually end together. So I'm gonna take this guy, or I'm just to take this one. So if you're running into this issue where you're like, wait, I can't get past my 5 seconds. You have to go to your settings. Do you have to drop down for geometry assets? Geometry assets. I don't know what you mean by that. don't know what you mean by that. This is a 2D only app. So let's say you have this stuff, right? You got the shape going for you. Cool. But we need to change this timeline. So if we go to, oops, I guess I clicked theater. Where do they put this? Oh, I guess it's under project. There it is. So project duration. So you can click on this and then say how many seconds, minutes, or hours you want it to be. I want this to be just 30 seconds of animation is fine for me. And then you see immediately that your timeline stretches. And this gives us the ability to then take each of these and just kind of snap them to the desired length. I didn't use this flipbook, so can I delete this? Long click. Yeah, delete. Great. Oh, so redo. Okay. The other thing is if you use 3 fingers in the timeline, you can stretch it like vertically. If you use 3 sideways, you can stretch it laterally. But this doesn't work with 3. Oh, actually it does. Look at this. You can also stretch now with 2. That's cool. I guess they have some more options. Okay, so let's say I have these 3 layers, right? And I want to move them all together. Because it's cool that they're all doing their thing, but I need to, I'm an animator who loves layers, and I want to be able to move all 3 of these layers together in harmony. How do you do that? Well, we grab our lasso selection tool and select the 3 layers. We then long press, and then we can say either group this or convert it to a flipbook. I'm going to say group, and see what it did? It essentially turned all 3 of those layers into a group. If we expand it, you can still get access to all of those. But this is very, 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 very powerful, because if you have everything as a group, that means we can now add a performance to this whole thing. So if I click on perform, I can now have this kind of bouncing up and down as like a separate layer of animation. But it still retains that separation of the 3 movements from earlier. And because it's a group, we can still expand it and say, you know what? The character needs to not be green. I can go back into it, edit the drawing, switch it to the right color, and also he needs to be solid. So let's fill him with solid orange. Let's give him like a lighter yellow outline. And notice how this does not destroy everything that we've already worked on. In fact, everything is still grouped. There it is. So if we hit the play button, it should be the same animation, but now it has that extra information in it. Really powerful stuff there. I used to have to do something like that where I'd render them separately and put them into one timeline and then render that timeline to create that same effect you're doing. Same. That was the only option you could do in the old Procreate app. But now you can, combine things very, very easily this way. And it goes further, a lot further, because we can also keyframe other things. So like, let's say I want to keyframe, what if I want to change my anchor? So let's say I want this to only rotate around the bottom of this circle. By having that anchor there and hitting the check mark, now when I go to rotate while performance is on, watch this. Now it's going to basically move from that spot. So this gives you just a lot of flexibility, a lot more flexibility that you usually just don't have with a lot of animation apps, especially 2D apps on iPad. I don't think there's anything as powerful as Procreate Dreams on iPad for 2D animators, illustrators, artists. Let's do some other fun examples. So I'm going to go back to theater mode. Click on the create. Let's do a wide. I'm going to go to flipbook mode. So what I'm going to do right now is animate a bird flying, a very simple bird. So I'm going to go to edit flipbook, let's grab a black outline, and I'm just going to do a very simple bird. I love that we have the keyframes now. And then I'm going to have these birds, yeah, kind of flaps up. Let me see. That does not look good. Let me fix that. Or let me play it back. That does not look like a bird flapping. If we wanted to be really boring, we could just do 2 keyframes. You know, a bird up state and then a bird down state. Or is it like, maybe it's like this, like a swoosh. A swoosh. Maybe we'll just go something like. All right, so that's like the most extreme, right? Poses. Let's move this keyframe. Let's add a third pose in between. These are literally called in-betweens. Okay, interesting. Let's add another keyframe in between that. So I'm going to slide this over. Maybe we just do a little thing like that. Let's do one where they're like basically closed. And then, what is this button? Oh, I see. Interesting. Oh, you can select, that's so cool. They used to not let you select multiple keyframes. That's cool, great to have that there. And then you have different layers now, so cool. How do I get rid of a layer? I did not mean to keep that. Okay, plus button, okay, that just adds a keyframe. Undo, okay. So, great, and then let's say, is there a ping pong effect? They used to have a ping ponging effect in here. Oh, I guess if I go to settings, frames, opacity, forwards, backwards, onion skinning, preferences, canvas, additive, filters, select. The other thing too is when in doubt, you can always do a bird study. You can go to like an app like YouTube and record the screen on like some motion that you're trying to learn. Bird flying. I don't need slow motion. Or do I? Actually, you know what? Slow motion might be kind of cool. That's great. So let's just screen record real quick, if it lets me. Where's the screen record feature? There it is. We're going to go to the beginning and just kind of play the button here. Just getting some raw bird flight data. Let's see if there's any that are just straight on camera. There we go. Okay, looking pretty cool. I need to get a nice flap. I'm looking for a solid bird flap. There we go. That's the one. That's also one. That's an even better one. That's the one I'm going to work with. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and stop that recording. I'm going to trim that recording to just the part that I care about to study, the motion. I think that was a good bird. I think this is a really good one. Look at that. So I'll do a character study there. Then we're going to go ahead and trim this video. Go to, I don't know, where's the timeline edit? There we go. And we're just going to trim it to when that bird enters the frame, which is right around there, and then when that bird leaves the frame. That's fine by me. And hit done. Save video. Let's make sure it's what we need. Looks great. All right, so now we have a good thing to study the motion with. And lastly, we're just going to trim the aspect ratio. So I'm just going to set the crop and set this to whatever, 16:9, and then hit enter. Cool. Now with this video, you can actually import video into Procreate Dreams very easily. At least you could in the last one. Let's see how easy it is to do this time. So if I go all the way back to the theater, I click on the plus button. Instead of clicking a new thing here, is there an option to just import? Let me see. I guess not. Let me go to empty. So we have an empty canvas. I'm going to hit the plus button. And then I'm going to import a video. Pull up the video there. And now we're bringing that YouTube video into Procreate Dreams app. With the object selected, we're going to fill the screen. And now we have our reference. Beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is go to a new layer and create a new video. Oh wait, sorry, not a new video. We're going to go to a new layer and create a new drawing. And this is where you can do some drawing of love and attention. In my case, I'm going to go to, not a drawing, I want to do a new flip book. So let me get rid of this drawing and just do a new flip book. And now we can go and start studying the motion. So I'm going to start off and just kind of figure out the motion. I'm going to do it in bright green for this first pass, just so I start to understand what is this bird's flight actually doing. It might be good to keep tabs on its body position. So I'm just going to start off by doing like a little circle on its head to get an idea of what that motion is like of just the body. Where is the head, staying relative to everything else? Is there a hotkey for next frame, or what is? I guess it's just plus button. Okay. It's a lot of keyframes already. You can see just by studying the circle, you can already see that there's like a. Do you see the onion skins? Let me make it a little bit darker opacity. Yeah, you can kind of study the motion that way. So you can already see as as it goes around, you can kind of study that motion. All right, and then let's keep going. We're still at it. So you see, as the character starts to turn, how we're getting that really nice arc here. And we're just getting that really good arc. You're studying that character's motion. You can also animate at any frame rate that you need too. So like, you don't have to do the ones that I was doing. It's a lot of keyframes to animate a bird, friends. All right, so now the bird's picking up speed. So you can see that distance between the circles is increasing because the head is moving more relative to the previous frame. So when things are moving fast, you want to put more space between your keyframes. When things are moving slow, you want to put less space between your keyframes. But now I can really see that this bird is hustling quite far. Now, it goes a little jumpy right here because I think the camera person is also moving relative to everything. I don't see the character's head here. Let me see, where's the head there? Okay, I think the head's probably still there. And just kind of, again, I'm just circling around the character's head position on each keyframe because there we go. So there we're done. So that's 57 frames of animation. But now with just this green on here, you have a good idea of what that motion looks like. The next thing I would do in a new keyframe color is on a new layer, I'm going to do this with maybe a different shade of green or maybe just a bright cyan pink. We're going to start marking just this wing position. So we have like an up and we have a down. And it's an up and it's a down. I'm going to also change my onion skin opacities to be a little bit fainter so that they're not too distracting when I'm doing this. Now I have up, up. Now it's almost like a full arc. Stays like an arc. Now it starts to curve at the end. Wow, birds' motions are actually really, really beautiful. Wow, look at that. It goes from that shape all the way back to almost like it goes almost from like a light hill to like a sharp mountain. And then it goes to like a tower. Yeah, see, birds' motions, at least for me, whenever I was animating and practicing my animation skills, actually we used to do this at DreamWorks too, is before YouTube, DreamWorks had been acquiring a giant library of animal footage from different shows and movies, and they were just building up this library. I forgot, I think it was called the DreamWorks, what do we call it? We had a whole library of just footage of different animals doing stuff. And they used, all of our animators would use this a lot, because there's a lot of animals and even, animal-like creatures in the DreamWorks movies. And so you're always trying to study the motion. But what we'd have them do is essentially, download and process the what do you call it? Oops, sorry, I bumped it into camera. You'd have them download and process the footage and have them start to understand what the motion actually is. Because if you don't look at it closely, you'll learn that the motion of these things is actually quite different than what you might intuitively think. I mean, I kind of thought a bird flapping was just up and down motion. And after looking at this, it looks more like a really interesting sine wave. And it goes, it flows a lot more. So a lot more flow and a lot more bendiness. It also bends what appears to be backwards to me. Arms coming forward, wings coming forward. And I just think that's pretty fascinating that the bird wings are far more complicated than I had first thought upon starting this video. You can see that motion of that bird really taking a different direction. Okay, let me go ahead and delete this keyframe. Remove single frame. Delete keyframe. Great. Okay, delete that. Remove empty section. Track options. Delete. No, don't delete track. Okay. So now what we have is we're looking at the motion of the bird. We understand a little bit more about how that wing is flapping. It seems like the other wing is essentially doing the opposite. It's very beautiful. Let's go ahead and track that wing as well. So I'm going to start here, maybe start on this keyframe, make a new track layer. I'm going to keep it pink, but just switch it to a little bit like a hotter red color, just so I can see it more visibly. And this will help me when, animating any flight. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Let's make sure we're doing this on the brand new layer. There we go. Because if you look at these wings, I mean, it's such a more complicated movement than what I was thinking. And it's so much more dramatic. I mean, when those wings really fold, they go from one extreme and then they really just pop back up in such a way that I'm just not expecting the flight of this creature. I'm really thinking about where the bones might be. Kind of is how I'm thinking about it. If we have an understanding of these bones, we should be all right to make some really cool things with this. And then we're going to move this one up here and just kind of track that wing all the way up this way, following it through. Give it a nice solid turn. Starts to peak upwards, starts to kind of curve, shoots back out, glides smoothly. And then it's like a soft bend. And it's like a little push twist forward. And then we get this kind of mountainy shapes, and then it's very sharp. And then we get this back to this arc shape. It's so cool. So it looks like it does this kind of weird bending shape when it's trying to change directions, which might be why I was thinking of the wrong things. Now that, you know, the character, the bird, is changing its direction quite dramatically. And so we're not really seeing all of its wing flaps to their fullest. Okay, and great. Let's take a look. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my flip book. I'm going to turn off the visibility of this layer. And looking at, just studying the character motion. Just looking at the joints. So like already now, that looks, you know, really good because we essentially followed nature. Nature already knows how birds should fly. And just by following along with that design, we have a really good look. Yeah, let's see. Can I change this background color? File, track, what's this? Stage. Background color, you can. That's great. So I'm going to set it to black. So yeah, now we have a pretty good, you know, understanding of that motion, which is great. I'm gonna maybe not make it white, or maybe not make it. Maybe we'll go like off, like a gray color. Okay, cool. So we have this motion on our flip book. Great. Now we're going to make a new layer with a new flip book. And this is where we're just going to have some fun with a more painterly looking brush. So they have these script brushes that are nice. They have bristle brushes and wash brushes and sponges and graphite and you name it. I really like these kind of outline brushes personally. They're like my go-to. But let me just explore some of the other brush languages that we can work with in here. Let me see what this chalky one looks like. It's very chalky. How about we go with more of a Pardé? I don't know what that is. It's more for shading. All right, now you get to decide what kind of creature this needs to be. Sketch. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with these outline brushes. I'm a big fan of them. Oh, that's really pretty. So now what we could do is, invent a creature or whatnot, or just create we can create a whole outline around this thing. And that could be its own entity. And then we're just going to go following these lines and just gentle curves. I'm just kind of following along the line. Maybe we don't go this direction with it. I could just, I guess I could reference the other stuff again. But that's interesting. Let me go out of the flip book here. Can I lower the opacity of this layer? Oh, you can. Gosh, they're making some stuff so simple and friendly. I am studying the character motion of a bird flying, so that I can animate something kind of fun. And we're using it inside of the brand new Procreate Dreams 2 app that has a lot more animation features than before. And that is what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna take this layer. I'm gonna see it. I don't know what to do. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna duplicate this whole thing. And then on this duplicate, I'm going to set it to convert to single track. So now it's a group of images. And then you can take this group of images and you can process them in different ways. I'm trying to remember all the ways you can do that. Let's see, if we go to filters, hue saturation, let's set it to all the way darkness. Okay. So now we get this understanding of the shape language. Great. Hey, love, do you need any help, cutie? Give me one moment. I'm just gonna be right back. Okay. Okay, so we got this motion, and we want to do something with it. So what do we do? Maybe we make a more abstract form of it. That might be kind of cool, right? So let's go to make a new flip book. And on this new flip book, we're going to go in with this brush and just kind of experiment with some abstract form. I think I don't need to see the onion skin as much this time. So, or maybe we do. I'm just going to reduce the opacity a lot. do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. Da 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 da. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much, Tay. We're going to turn off onion skin all together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just doing about 56 drawings here. Not too bad. The old-fashioned way. still using a touchscreen and like capacitive sensors, but this is now the old-fashioned way because it's still human effort. About 10 more drawings and we should be good. What up? I was just doing a little character study on the flight of birds and trying it out in the brand new update of the Procreate Dreams app. It's a really, really powerful animation app. I mean, you can do keyframe animation, you can do hand-draw animation, you can load up video like I did in the background layer here. I just dropped the opacity a lot so I could see my drawings over the video footage. But it is remarkably powerful, very capable, and still very human. And what I'm going to try to do is add like more wispy like paint and stuff to the animation. I think it's going to look really cool. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the Procreate Dreams app just got the huge update 10 hours ago. And they added like, it's just actually, it feels like a whole new app in some sense. But all of them were quality of life improvements and then some totally new features that they just did not have before. So it's really cool to see them actually like, continue to innovate in human-centered design, even though the rest of the world is like pushing into all AI stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love AI. It's just sometimes you just got to put more human effort into stuff than the quick stuff that you get out of AI. I like to occasionally switch up my whole plan here. Okay, and then we got a few more frames. Think about 2 more keyframes and we should be ready to preview this animation. Oh, 1, that was it. Let's take a look. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna go to the layer below and just turn off its visibility. How do I do that? Do I long press it? There we go. So I'm just gonna turn off its visibility, but I actually want to keep the audio. Thank you so much. I really like the way this came out. And so now what I'm going to do is add more like effects on a new layer. So I'm going to add a new flipbook, add a new flipbook layer. And what I'm going to do is kind of figure out when there's a big sweep, like that's a big sweeping motion. So I would want to, I'm just going to put some dots there. And I also would like to see the onion skin. So like imagine you're flying. Right there, I would want the brush strokes to continue. back. How do I go back to... I don't like that. Let's take it off. Delete content. I could add... Let's see. Okay, that's an idea. So on an earlier layer, I had this kind of flipbook animation made. Oops, I just changed the timing. Let me offset the time, fix that. I wonder if I looked at all of these as a, let me see, if I add a new drawing and go to Flipbook, and if I were to see all of this as we got frames, onion skin is on, I don't see anything there. Maybe I do it on this layer. Edit Flipbook, go to settings. Okay, so I have kind of an idea in here. Is like, what if we showcased the entire path first? So I'm turn off that layer. Got it. So I'm just going to add a new drawing and start by... Oh, I see, but the drawing makes it so that you have to switch to let me think about this. So if we had a drawing that tried to represent the character's motion, AI is cool, but you have to know what you're doing with it. That is astute. Yeah, I agree. Mountain passing by. Thank you so much, Mickey. You got it. That's a great idea. Mountain passing by it is. So let's go to underneath all this. Let's add a new drawing layer. And for the mountains, I'll make them gray. And I'll put them off in the distance. And then let's do some different colors. Actually, I'll do that on a separate layer. So let's just do this first mountain. And I'll go back to settings. And with this first mountain, we're going to make sure the keyframe lasts for the whole time. And we're just going to do a subtle parallax. So I'm going to go to the first keyframe here, set a keyframe in its position. And then we'll go to a later keyframe and just give it a little bit of parallax. Let's see what this does. That's cool. Oh, with a little bit of trees? Okay. Let me get some trees in there. So that's like far away. Should I flip this? Let me see. What if I flip the script? So take that, go to the beginning, put that over there. What does that look like? That looks a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. So we have the bird now flying, right? So let's do some foreground objects. So we're going to go in front of the bird layer with the Procreate Dreams app, add the new drawing, and in a much darker color, we're going to add some trees to be in the foreground. So I'm just going to kind of make whatever these are, my version of a tree. I'm starting off just by doing the branches. I'll do the leaves after. Just want to make sure that the branches are sound. Oh, thanks. I traced a bunch of footage of birds flying, and then now I'm just adding fun details. Okay, so if that's the kind of tree, let's do some leaves. I wonder if I have a nice brush for doing leaves. Oh, bristles. Oh, let's do some bristles. That might be great. Let's do some little bristly brushes or something. It's kind of like a tree-like branches. Let's get some different shades in there. All right, we got a tree. So let's go ahead and animate that tree. So yeah, we can keep it on frame the whole time. And then if this is going by fast, we would set a keyframe and then go into the future, and then the tree should just kind of zip on by, right? Because then, hey, that looks cool. Wow. Oh my God. Okay, I love this. So, wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. I'm going to erase some of my little flub ups on here. So if I go to edit flipbook, you can see my little flub ups. So for the brush, I'm going to use a really chunky brush to erase stuff. Looks like that's not strong enough of an eraser. It's not doing anything. Oh, that's a previous keyframe. All right, so I go forward, back. There we go. So let's erase that. I'm just going to do some cleanup. I wonder if I can use two hands here. Okay, I'll just click on the frames. It's a little bit easier. And I'm just erasing, because sometimes I rest my hand on here, and it kind of like adds drawings that, weird, it won't let me erase that. Let's try a different brush. Okay, I don't know what that was on. Weird, it must be on like a totally different layer. It seems like it's only erasing the big stuff occasionally. Okay. All right, let's see, that looks like a little bit less blemishes. Should the bird be in front of the tree? Also, I might change the color of the tree a little bit, just because it blends in so deeply with the shadows of the bird that I can see that causing me some issues. So let's go to our tree layer. And since it's just a single drawing, we should be able to just honestly go to like the coloring and just to play with the brightness. So I think just touching, I think just gently adjusting the brightness ratio a tiny, like a hair, should be enough to separate it from the background, right? So let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's good. Because I kind of want to keep the bird, but also since the bird's the darkest, it should probably be in the front. So I'm going to move this layer below the bird layer so the bird actually is in front of us. Yeah, that works. And then to add some more dynamic stuff, we're going to add some grass that's almost black as a drawing. So we're going to add a new drawing layer. We're going to set it to black, and I'm just going to draw grass using one of the ink brushes from earlier. I think, yeah, this should be perfect. So I'm just going to kind of draw little blades of grass. I'm keeping them relatively low in the frame. I heard you can adjust the canvas size at any time. Let me see. So cropping. Yeah, look at that. So you can make the canvas size honestly as large as you want. Or maybe you can't. Maybe I lied. Okay. As large as the scene allows for. But that's really cool. And then let's grab some different types of brushes just so we have some variations on these grass blades. Oh, I have a low battery. Let me plug this in. How's the battery now? Oh, it's charging. Cool. So I'm just adding little bits of grass, plants. Let's try a different brush. Let's try what is this? A man fern. Oh, what? This is perfect for grass. It's got like little threes. Oh my good, look at this. Did you see that? You can actually rotate the brush to do all sorts of different shapes. Wow, so just by a little gentle twist of the brush, we can get so much more variation. All right, I'm gonna add some grays in there. Monoline paint. Let's try bristles. Let's try this guy. There we go. Make it really large. And these will be like little bushes that form somewhere. Let's grab the black color and just kind of add some little shadows. All right. Great, and then let's add a little bit more. What is this? Rocky Hills. Interesting brush name. Boo Book. Boo Book's an interesting material as well. I like it. Very textury. All right, so these are like kind of like really up close pieces of grass that are going to fly by the frame. I'm just adding a little bit of texture in here. Just a little bit of texture. And then let's go ahead and add some like actual detailed plants. Just occasionally, you know, like with like a couple leaves or something that ought to look good. Let's do it out of maybe script brush might be good. Yeah. So let's say occasionally we get like a couple of like, you know, little leaves in here. Weird, I don't see the brush for some reason. Am I on the wrong layer? Weird. Just stopped drawing. Okay, switch the brush and switch it back. Weird, it doesn't like that brush. All right, let's just try a different one altogether. Oh, I like this one. It feels very much like blades of grass. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's say we want to turn one of these into like a leaf. And just kind of just occasional little indicators that there's some plant life in here. Maybe something that kind of just like dangles like this. Great. Let's do some over here. Cool. So with this giant drawing layer, we're going to start this layer really up close, like this. And this is a pretty fast layer, so we're just going to have it kind of go through the paces, and maybe we end up like right around here. Beautiful. Let me fix something in the drawing here. I see a weird line. There we go. Get rid of that. And then I need to figure out the layer order. So if the bird is in the front, maybe I'll put this behind the bird layer, but in front of the tree. Does that make any sense? Let's try. Oops. All right, that works. I might make this whole image smaller now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, let's just make this whole thing smaller. So let's just scrunch it down. Oh, it gets smaller at the end. I don't want to do that. I love it. So now we have a really fun drawing. I might want to add like a sun or something back there, which means we kind of need like a sky background. So let's go to a lower layer and let's add another drawing, a drawing behind the mountains. Yeah, and then I'll go to the starting keyframe here. Let's go to add a new drawing. And for this, we're just going to create some nice texture for a sky. I'm going to try to use a wash brush with a light gray. And this will just help us kind of create some clouds. I think that for whatever reason, I think the drawing is on the wrong layer, but that's okay. Let's just go ahead and just do some little washes very gently, create a little bit of an overcast kind of sky up here. Okay. This gives us a little bit of texture. And then we're going to take this drawing that represents the sky and make sure that that drawing is not where it currently is, which I think is the top keyframe. We're going to move this all the way behind the mountains. Oh, too far. There. Great. So now it's behind the mountains. Or is it? Did I erase the mountains? Kind of looks good without the mountains too. I might still move the air a little bit. So I'm going to go to the compose. And on this spot, we're going to set a keyframe for where the sky starts, which is where it currently is. Just going to start it right there. And then go to keyframes. Great. Then at the end, we're going to move the sky to the side a little bit. Not a lot. And that should just add a little bit more life to the whole scene. So now you got like a moving sky. How do I go to like a full screen viewing? There you go. So now we have a nice custom environment, some custom animation, and oh, I want to make sure I see that tree. Let's go to the very beginning. There we go. You know what? Let's do a copy of that tree at a later time. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeing the tree twice. So is this the tree? Yes, that's the tree layer. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the tree. Just a regular duplicate. And then we're just going to move this tree here, just so we see it appear a little bit later. So now we have two different trees, I think, if we did this correctly. I think that's too fast afterwards, so I'm just going to move this layer later. And let's maybe scale the tree differently. This is great. Make sure the animation ends at this time. So I don't know how to do that. Oh, there we go. So you just have to snap everything to its final position here. Okay. All right. There's some fun animation layers in there. I wonder, do they have adjustment layers in here? Let me see. If I add a new, I guess they have a drawing. Yeah, I guess I can add a new drawing. Let's see. So if we have a new drawing, I just had an idea of adding some color to this image, but like not in a normal way. What I was thinking of doing is maybe just adding a drawing on here that represents like color correction. So let's go to add a new drawing, and then I'll actually paint with color this time. So let's say we do want like kind of like an orange sky. And then maybe we want some like kind of yellowy, grassy areas. Let's see if we were to filter this out. And then play with settings like preferences, pressure, no. Select, transform, there we go, transform. Select filters, lens blur. Maybe this isn't the right spot to put color settings in. I don't know if they have, do they have color filters? Let's see. I don't see color filters. Oh, filter. Opacity. Okay, they just have opacity. It looks like they don't have, you can't like pass colors through. I thought I was going to be able to do like an overlay filter or something, but I don't currently see that support. So I guess I won't do that. I'll just keep it black and white. I think that's fine. About this artwork, frames per second, history, resolution, stage, time code, timeline, share. Oh, there's an advanced export now? Look at this. So document size. Wow, you can export up to 4K. Beautiful. Format video, file container, MP4, single pack, one shot, ACC audio. This is wonderful. All right, let me hit, and then you have a play button so you can preview what you're about to share. Great. And then I'll hit share, and then save video. And if that worked out correctly, that should just now be in my camera roll. All right, so there you go. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this live stream, this workflow, using the brand new Procreate Dreams update. They have a nice update, really worth getting. This app combines 2D animation, 2D animation, a little bit of compositing, a little bit of it feels a little bit like Flash and After Effects and Procreate. If all three of those apps came together, it has very much that energy. And it's very fast, very responsive. It works incredibly well on an iPad. And yeah, thanks for watching.